Wait, doesn't Adam Rose come out to like a bath, a kind of a robe?
Yes, no, it's almost like a boa robe.
Yeah. All right. Well, whatever. Well, you know what? Maybe we just came up with our new tournament. The best ring attire in the history of wrestling.
That's a pretty good tournament.
I'm sure we could come up with at least 32. I don't know about 64, but Macho Man Randy Savage and Ric Flair are going to be 1 and 2 on that list before we get to anybody else.
Of course.
And of course, Rick Rude with those awesome spray painted spandex.
Rick Rude has like one of the greatest ring attire ever in my mind.
It was pretty damn awesome.
You know what? I think that should be our next tournament in general. Best ring attire.
I think we're gonna do it. All right, we're gonna have to put that together and maybe kick that off the week after our tribute show.
Sounds good to me.
Let's see. So this is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we come up with tournaments. Just randomness.
Random thoughts in our head.
It's just randomness. It just happens. It just pop. I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Team Torment. They are the heavyweight champions. The heavyweight champion. Every time they're described as the heavyweight champion, two gentlemen as the heavyweight champion, Major League 2 pops into my head when the limo pulls up and like 30 people get out of this limo and Rube Baker goes, oh my god, that's the damn biggest car I've ever seen in my life. And then Willie Mays Hayes gets out and he goes, who's that? And Jake Taylor goes, oh, those are our center fielder.
I totally remember that too.
So every time I hear Team Torment, they're like, those guys are the heavyweight champion. And they're like, what? Yes. Heavyweight champion, no S on the end. But they managed to defeat the former champions Chris Steeler and Karloff in a match where I really was hoping that Steeler and Karloff were able to get their hands on Team Torment longer. But it sets up a pretty interesting next show. Their 7-year anniversary show in December. Steeler, who has the Money in the Bank contract, and Karloff, who's the number 1 contender. Somehow, some way, Steeler said he's cashing in his contract for that title against Team Torment or Karloff, or it could be a fatal 4-way. Who knows?
I would love to see a fatal 4-way between those two. Those four.
Joe Blaney, if you're listening, Nick wants to see a fatal 4-way with Team Torment, the heavyweight champion, Karloff, and Chris Steeler to cash in his contract in that, just to be in that match, not to cash in the contract after the match is over. So we want a fatal 4-way. So
Joe Bellini, come on, make it happen, Joe.
Make it happen. Pull some strings. I heard you know people. Come on. It was Aaron Stride defeating Hawkins and Riley. And then he ran off. Literally ran off, took off. But it was not a fatal 4-way. It was a 3-man match. But he won the match, and Kurt Hawkins and what's his name? Riley, right? Blonde-headed gentleman. It's really pissing me off. I can't remember him. But
that's worse.
If Riley's name on Superstars of Wrestling. I mean, Warriors of Wrestling.
No, I don't even know why you can't think of it right now.
Oh my god, this is killing me. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm looking it up right now. Here we go.
This is what happens, folks. We have so much we have so much information in our heads that sometimes we overload it.
Yeah, it's just I can't. Come on, I'm really going to their website and he's not even on there. Rude Boy Riley.
There you go.
Oh my god. I don't even think he's on. Is he even on here? There he is. Rude Boy Riley. There he is. There he goes. In this picture, I think he has dark hair. Go figure. Yes, he does. All 6'1" and 208 pounds of him. Okay. Basically, Rude Boy Riley, if nobody has seen this guy, is a cross between if CM Punk and Dolph Ziggler ever had a child together.
That's a pretty talented wrestler, though, by the way.
He's good. Rude Boy Riley is good. He's got a very distinct CM Punk look to him, especially when Punk had the blonde hair. And he's very... he's a lot like Ziggler. I'm telling you, he's like a Ziggler-Punk mix. It's scary.
I mean, those two are two of my favorite quote unquote active wrestlers, even though Punk isn't active. But
I just, we always say that there's certain guys that we know that have it, that are gonna make, they're probably gonna make it sometime. Unfortunately, in my opinion, and I hope I'm wrong, because he's got this very distinct Punk look, WWE is so trying to get away from that because of CM Punk.
Yeah.
It's going to make it very difficult. Very difficult. But
I mean, the only one besides Punk that I thought the WWE would have been able to push was, oh wow, why can't I think of his name right now? He was the guy in NXT who had a bunch of concussions.
Oh, I don't know.
Corey Graves.
Oh, okay. I was like, Dolph Ziggler, he's like the poster child for concussions.
Yeah, but Corey Graves was going to be like the last Punk lookalike that they were going to push.
I mean, I hope I'm wrong because he's got it all. I mean, he's great wrestling skills. He can get up to he can fly with the best of them. He can grapple with the best of them. He's pretty good with the microphone, but all that stuff improves with experience and age, and he has charisma. And that's a lot of wrestlers just don't have that charisma. They have everything else, but they lack that charisma. They lack that magnetism to the crowd, and he has it. So it was good. I mean, despite Aaron Stride winning the match, him and Kurt Hawkins shook hands at the end of the match. Hawkins, of course, he looked dynamite. A very good technical wrestler, and always good to see Kurt Hawkins. And Brian Myers, whatever you want to call him, and see him in his 7-line gear because they sponsor him, and it's the Prince of Queens. So Aaron Stride defeats Hawkins and Riley. Moving on, John Cannon defeated Benjamin Quinn, and EYFBO, the Funky Monkey, the Warriors of Wrestling Tag Team Champions took on former WWE World Tag Team Champions Tool Cool, Grandmaster Sexay, and Scotty 2 Hotty. But it was EYFBO victorious over the former WWE superstars. And then we had a little disagreement between Tool Cool, and then EYFBO stepped in and kind of made them remember where they came from and why they're there, and the inspiration they are to other people. And then some dancing broke out. Couple of the worms broke out. I think there was even a spinneroonie that was done. Yeah. I just remember growing up with Too Cool, and that was they were the big thing for kids to enjoy. Yeah, it was, and they were the cruiserweight sized wrestlers, Exactly. That's what X-Pac, X-Pac doesn't get enough credit because it was kind of X-Pac. I mean, I know Dean Malenko was around longer and but X-Pac kind of made it okay for these cruiserweight size wrestlers to be able to compete against the heavyweights. Exactly. I mean, when he came in as the 1, 2, 3 kid, he was the first small guy that was on TV, really. Yeah. And again, no disrespect for Dean Malenko, but he didn't get the exposure he deserved being in WCW. That's the problem. Yeah. So, and by the time he got to WWE, he was already, 2/3 of his career was over. Yeah. So that wrapped up the show. We had some dancing, some good times. A great show, again, put on by Warriors of Wrestling, a capacity crowd, and a great job by Joe Bellini. And he didn't wrestle this week, but he was involved in one of the storylines, of course, with Team Torment and the championship belts. So, but just a great weekend of independent wrestling. Okay?
Absolutely.
And we have about 5 minutes or so left. But the big event, Nick wasn't able to join us. It was myself, JT, John, and Nancy of VOC Nation were with us. And we got squeezed between Lita and Alberto Del Rio and Ricardo Rodriguez. So it was just a wave of people in front of us the entire day. It really couldn't even get up until it started to break up a little bit. But I'm monstrous. I mean,
it was busier than last time?
Oh my God. It was multiple rooms of just chaos.
That's awesome.
It was just, money must have been thrown around like candy. But I picked myself up another Macho Man Randy Savage shirt. And I was able to interview multiple former peers and co-workers of the Macho Man Randy Savage, who all had something to say in regards to him and our tribute show next week. So it was great to talk to all of them. Greg the Hammer Valentine, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Tugboat, Andrew Anderson, Mean Gene Okerlund, Hillbilly Jim, X-Pac, and Scott Hall.
Awesome.
So I want to thank all of them as a group, individually, for giving me a couple minutes of your time to make this happen. I didn't want to play the normal YouTube intros and promos. Not that they aren't awesome, because Macho Man was one of the best at it. But I wanted something a little bit different, something a little bit more personable. Something that touched the heart a little bit more, because now this is real. This is his peers speaking on his behalf, and telling you, how Macho Man touched them some point during their career, whether it was a borrowed piece of equipment, to some advice entering the business, to being the first storyline of a new wrestler coming into the company, to just sharing the road trips from one event to the other, and sharing the business info with everybody. And I asked every single one of those wrestlers, all but two had the same one-word description of Randy. We'll play it next week, and I'm sure everybody will figure it out after the first two or three say it. We also got some information from Mean Gene Okerlund regarding Miss Elizabeth. Very humorous information. Only Mean Gene could pull off.
Oh, Mean Gene.
Yeah, he's a crazy guy. He's a crazy guy. Of course, next week on the show, we will, it's just going to be a 45-minute program dedicated to the Macho Man Randy Savage. We'll have a couple other audio clips from co-workers like Jake the Snake Roberts, Diamond Dallas Page, and I even think I have one from Al Snow from our first interview.
Yes.
They will talk about the Macho Man Randy Savage. So, with that said, I appreciate everybody listening in for episode number 49 as we wind it down. Thanks to the Superstars of Wrestling and Rob Banner, Warriors of Wrestling and Joe Bellini, Brian and Tommy of the Big Event. I'd like to thank all our fans who greeted us at the events and at the wrestling shows. I want to thank my co-host Nick for taking time out of work to join us.
Absolutely, anytime.
And ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to please help control the nitwit population and have your friends spayed or neutered. And enjoy the rest of your weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out in.